And good morning, everybody. Especially good morning to my friend Hagen. He literally just woke up. Um, welcome to the Sunday Comic Book Hangover Show for March the 2nd. How is it March already? I am joined as always by Hagen from Lettuce Comics. And today our guest is Cait from Cait's Comics on Instagram. You can find her Instagram link in the description. Please go check her out. I was lucky enough to meet her on a stream with Eric from SideQuest Comics, who's in the chat. Cait really collects cool books. I did request that she bring one, so I can't wait for her to show that.
I bet I know which one it was.
Yeah, you do. And if anyone in this stream doesn't know, you'll know soon enough.
Yeah.
How is everybody today? Cait, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I got up, was reading a bit, and once we're done here, I'm probably going to go run to my LCS for something that just didn't come in on time on Wednesday, and then errands.
Yeah, Sunday. The Sundays suck.
Yep.
Hagen, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm fine and dandy. I've been up for hours. Thank you for asking.
That is a damn lie, and you know it.
Yeah, I told you guys this before we got on, but Sleepy Carl decided that I wasn't going to wake up this morning, so I have an alarm set for 8, and Sleepy Carl said, "No, you don't," and turned it off, and I woke up at 9:28. But I am here.
A scant 4 minutes ago.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready to go.
You look like a summer rose, my friend.
Oh,
well, let's say hi to our friends in the chat. JSS and Christina were here early, dropping links in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Eric from SideQuest, who we will be on his show tonight at 8 p.m. with Dope Comics and Big Nasty Comics. That's going to be fun. K Munin, thanks for being here, man. Very appreciated. Speaking of Big Nasty, there he is. Hey, Rich. See you tonight. I swear I saw. There's Adam from Up and Adam. Oh, I will have to show off my. I've got it down here ready to go. I don't know if Cait saw it or not, but you know, it's my Avengers 4. I'll show that picture any chance I get. Hey, Wellbore. Excuse me. I don't want to miss anybody. So there's no. I missed Dope. There he is. Hey, Dope. We'll see you tonight, brother. And there's Coach Doug. Doug's been a guest on here before. Do we see anybody else? Nope. Jason from Renegade. And my real friend, my real Eric, real life Eric. We're going to that toy show together today. Hey there, buddy. And there's Cait sneaking in. And Brian. Hey, Brian. Good morning, my friend.
What's up, dude?
His old spot. We snaked it. What did you guys, anybody want to talk about something they read this week that they really enjoyed? It doesn't have to be new, just anything.
I didn't have a ton of time to read stuff, but I did go to my half-price bookstore, or not a half-price books. It's called Mr. K's.
Yeah.
It's a used bookstore. And one thing that I got really excited that I picked up was this. This is a Sweet Tooth hardcover.
Is it like the whole thing? Is it volume 1?
I believe it says it's the deluxe edition book 1.
Okay.
So it's not like the collected, it's not like the whole thing, but it is that. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. I love, you introduced me to Jeff Lemire. And I love that. I believe you talked about Sweet Tooth at some point, maybe a few months ago.
So I read the first trade, which is, I think it's just 5 or 6 issues. It's and it was good. I really enjoyed it, but my whole family watched that show on Netflix, and I think they're a bit different, the show and the comic book, but it's one of those things where, in my opinion, like both can be good even though they're different. And we really enjoyed the show, and it has made me want to go back and get the entire series because I know it's finished. And I just love his art. Like his art fits so well for that kind of like sweet but melancholy story, you know?
Yeah. You and I talked about that with Essex County, how like it was just like a perfect marriage of like theme and artwork. It was just so good. But yeah, I picked that up. I also ordered from Thrift Books. If you guys aren't wise to Thrift Books, become wise to Thrift Books.
Okay.
I got the Swamp Thing, The Green Hell, which is a
Hey, Terry.
series you worked on, and I bought Essex County.
Excellent.
Because
Yeah,
I want to have it.
I don't own it and I need it. My wife and I both read it, and it is, I mean, seriously, like, it's just one of those, what do you want to call it? Like a perennial? Is that right? Like, I want to read it every year. Like, I want to read it every year. And Dope says Green Hell is 4 fires. That's a lot of fires.
Yeah.
And I was thinking just 3, but 4 is.
Cait, what about you? What did you read this week?
So this week for new comics, I read it digitally. I read the Pop Kills, the new issue out. Jimmy Palmiotti is on it, and that's just kind of what convinced me to take a look at that. It's got like corporate espionage with soda companies.
Yes.
And that was pretty interesting. It's got some cool art to kind of bring you in depth of this kind of interesting fight between I believe the companies are owned by brothers who are not seeing eye to eye, hence the murder and espionage. But that was pretty cool for a first issue, so I'm going to be reading the next one.
Very cool. It reminded me, there's a novel I read a long time ago called Syrup by Max Berry, and it was about like soda company, corporate, and this guy that came up with the name for the new soda that swept the nation, and it was literally the F word. Like, that was the name of this of the new soda.
That's how you know it's good.
That's how you know it's good, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're drinking. And it was a very like dark humor type of thing, and that's what that book looked like. I didn't pick it up because it was so expensive. I want to say it was like $6 for a single issue, but it was one that definitely got my attention. It looked good. I think my read of the week so far, I'm not actually all the way through my books because I've been reading so much, and I told Cait before, and Hagen knows, a lot of people know, my back went out last Thursday, and I have just been miserable and on pain pills and asleep. But Absolute Wonder Woman continues to just be so much damn fun. Like, I mean, I thought, I was like, where are they going to go after we've done the big monster thing? And they did it. They did more. So I really have enjoyed this. And then Mark Russell is a writer who keeps popping up. And he's a comedy writer, but he loves what he's writing. And it just, it works because he loves it. He's not making fun of it. He's having fun with it. So he wrote a Wonder Twins series for DC.
See that.
It's a while back, and I got this at the library. This is from 2021, and it is hysterical. They come from a different planet. They are in high school. It's high school, so it sucks. They are interns at the Hall of Justice, and it hits all the notes for like fun comedy in the DC universe. I absolutely loved it. And then I've only read the first issue, but I got George Perez's collection too from the library of Wonder Woman, just because Absolute Wonder Woman has been tickling my fancy. And this is so freaking, like, it's so good. I mean, big surprise, right? George Perez art is outstanding, but like the things that I'm not big into this mythology. I'm not big into Greek mythology, but they're doing it in a way that I really like. So I've seen that John's Comics with Kids has been doing a read of that book, and I just I really dig it. There's Mr. Akins. Yes, I said George Perez. Freaking love George Perez. And if I didn't say hi to Jeff from Comic Spot, I should have. Hey Jeff, thanks for being here and waking up early, brother. What else? Anybody?
I didn't get a chance to grab the second issue. It was one of the ones that was late coming in. But last 2 weeks ago, I was able to grab Ripperland #1. I've been trying to dive kind of outside of my usual reading with DC, and trying to expand a little bit, even though I do love them and I keep reading those as well. So it's not focusing on something else so much as
Yeah,
broadening to others. But if anybody hasn't read this, it is quite a journey. I'll kind of bring it a little closer because it's got some really awesome like steampunk art in it. But it is a story that if you start reading it, you think you're in like England in probably like the late 1800s. And as the story goes on, we are actually in, I think it's the future or like closer to our, but a little bit, maybe a little bit further out, where the United States is in control of England. And the country is really just there for the United States pleasure. And as a result, it becomes a theme park based on like Victorian age England. And a murder takes place, and they think like, essentially like this Jack the Ripper is running rampant in Victorian but modern day England, and they have like no technology. So it's really, really, I don't know, captivating.
Well, it sounds very much like my son is a huge Doctor Who fan, and we've been doing a rewatch. It sounds like a universe that they would end up in, right? Like
a little bit, yeah. Like what's going on here? Like it's close, but like there's just something a little off, and that little thing off like expands into something much larger.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Brief aside, did the Don't Blink episode scare the shit out of your son, or
no? So just aside to your aside, they are doing. He's in 4th grade. They're writing. They all have to do a report, a biography report on somebody, and he chose David Tennant. Like all the kids in his class are choosing, like I don't know what. I mean, I teach that age group, so like the kids are into some really ridiculous crap, and he wears a. He's got a Christmas sweater that he still wears to school sometimes that has Jean-Luc Picard on it from Next Generation that says "Make it snow," and all the kids ask him, "Why is the rock on your sweater?" So when he's doing David Tennant, nobody knows who that is.
Yeah, another kid.
He is so cool, but like
they just don't know it yet.
Don't Blink is amazing.
Your child must be protected. Oh, that's just adorable. Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much it tickles me that he like, I don't know that I had that kind of confidence to just be into what I was into without embarrassment, and he really like does not care.
No, Lord, no. I wore a Navy suit with red Converse to middle school one year, and I got made fun of for it one time, and never ever tried it again, and refused to tell anybody that I was into Doctor Who. So no, props to your kid.
That's so good.
Oh, that is awesome. I want to show. Okay, so I did go to Half Price Books for real. And I want to show a couple books that I got yesterday. Just some cheapies. So this made me think of you, Hagen. This is from Innovation. Isn't that the company that made the Terminator book? That's Alex Ross's first work.
I think that's Now Comics.
Okay.
I think.
Well, this is called All Hallows Eve, and it's just like it's an indie. I don't know anything about it. But it's just an indie like Halloween story. I like the art. It reminds me of The Secret of Nim, if you know what that movie is with the rats, because there's a lot of rats that are characters in this. So I picked that. I mean, problem with Half Price Books is everything is $1.50, and it's really hard to pass books up for $1.50. Like these were $2. Oh, forgive me, $2. Like some Bill Sienkiewicz New Mutant covers. I look at that. It's
basically
awesome.
paying you to walk away with it,
They really are. I'm glad they only had 2, because I'm going to end up collecting. And I do like the character Magic a lot. I've been into her lately, mainly because I play her in the Marvel Rivals video game. But I thought this cover was sweet. Another Sienkiewicz. I don't know because I haven't read it yet, but somebody's singing at a microphone. So yeah, I'm hoping it's Dazzler. I'm hoping. Should be. And then this one. Oh my God. From Epic Comics, 1984. The Sisterhood of Steel. What is this? They had like 8 issues, and I wasn't going to be that invested. I wanted to check this out first, but I mean, the 80s, you two are both way too young to remember, but there were many swords and sorceries movies. There was just all these dark fantasy type movies and shows that came out, I think because they were easy to shoot in the desert or something. So I don't know if this is just writing those coattails, but last week, Jeff from Comic Spa, he showed a book from Epic. Epic is creator-owned books from Marvel. So Marvel writers and Marvel artists under this imprint would get to make something, and they owned it. So I'm not sure who is the creator of this, but that's why this exists, is because somebody who worked for Marvel wanted to have that ownership of what they created. And this is in really good shape. Oh man, the paper quality is really good too. It's that really good thick paper. So let's see here. No, that's Epic. Creator. Oh my God, how do they not credit anybody? Well, I'll look at this later. But I thought this was a really cool painted cover, so I was into it for $2. But this next one is one of the weirdest things I found in a while. Cait, you said you like when I post weird stuff. So this one is under Charlton. So it's a Charlton comic. It's a 12 center. It's from I can't tell, 1962. 1962. This is Schiff's Shoes presents Freddy. Bluebird Comics, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. So Freddy playing this trumpet here is obviously not Reggie. He's not Reggie from Archie Comics at all. He's not. And then down here on the bottom, we have all of these not knockoff characters. Instead of Black Beauty, it's Black Fury. Wyatt Earp, because nobody's going to sue for that. This one's my favorite. This is Timmy the Timid Ghost, not Casper the Friendly Ghost. He's timid.
Sure.
This is definitely not Dennis the Menace. This is Lil Genius. And then not Mickey is called Atomic Mouse. So I saw this and I was really excited. Like, I wanted to read all of these knockoff things. This is the biggest ripoff in comic books ever. Not one of these bubble characters appear. Every story is like a 4-page Freddy Archie type story. And I read quite a few of them. I didn't finish the whole thing, but I was like, where is Timmy the Timid Ghost, right? Where's Atomic Mouse? Black Fury.
I love that it has been 50 years since someone last said that, and now you are rejuvenating that anger.
Right? I mean, I'm so mad. And it's fallen apart, but here it is. Okay, I got it. One of my favorite things about old books, period. Oh, pages literally just fell out of this thing. But one of my favorite things is the letter column, right? So I'd like to read you this letter. And I feel like a lot of times letter column letters are fake, right? Like they'll create it so that they have something to respond to. But there's just no way anybody created this one. Here we go. Dear Freddy, I am 11 years old. I enjoy reading your books. I have 2 parakeets. Sometimes they fight. I had a cat, but someone poisoned her. We are getting a dog this summer. From Pam Palazzo in Grand Rapids, Michigan. What?
Did they respond to that one?
They did. Dear Pam, I guess your 2 parakeets aren't lovebirds. I can't understand how people could be so cruel to poison a poor defenseless animal. They must not have any hearts. I bet you're planning to have lots of fun with your dog this summer, fall, and winter. Do you know what kind of dogs I like? Hot dogs. Your friend Freddy. Someone's going to poison that dog, or probably did.
Yeah,
right? I mean, this was 1962. I want to go back to, it's under the Charlton imprint, and it's Bluebird Comics, Schiff's Shoes, and then on the back are Bluebird Shoes for Children. I think this is I love promotional books, and that's why I grabbed it. I think this might be a promotional book for whatever this company is, Schiff's Shoes. I've never heard of it, or, I don't know if it's like a regional thing or what.
They went bankrupt after they used their entire advertising budget to pay for a comic.
That they couldn't give me one Timmy, the timid ghost story. Just give me an appearance. Let him haunt Freddy, for God's sake. Dope. Damn, Bam. So this was definitely my find of the week. It doesn't even have, let's see, Jab here. He's like, get the next issue. See what happened to the dog. I hope nothing happened to the dog too. It was such a random thing to I read it. It made my brain like short out for a minute. I read it to my wife and she's like, what the hell did you bring home here? But there's no issue number. So I don't know. I feel like, no. Oh my God. It's number 15. Guys, we got 14 more of these to track down at least.
Schiff was put out of business after it was found they poisoned animals for
Oh, that's
Thanks,
excellent. Yes.
Oh man.
Jason wins the chat every week. I still think about Semper Venti for the gangster ass baristas. Good stuff, man. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. So that, anybody have anything else they want to show? Because I really want Cait to show a book I asked her to bring. I want to revel in its glory.
Well, let's bury the lead. Let's go ahead and do it.
All right. I somewhat recently was able to find one of my grails. See if I can get some lighting here. Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, issue number 1, which not only am I a huge fan of Superman and all the other characters there, I love Lois Lane. She's just a very interesting character, and I chase Halloween covers. So
awesome.
Talk about hitting every check mark here. You don't really see this too often, so the chance to have gotten it is absolutely wild.
Did you get a good, and you don't have to tell the amount, but do you feel like you got a good price for it? Because I see this book fluctuate a lot, like in terms of what people ask.
Yeah, a really good price, and I was on a claim show, and if you've ever been on them, people throw out credits, so I was also able to get credits on this book and pick it up from a friend. So it's just like a number of really awesome situations to get.
I don't know what that means. What's credits mean?
People just throw credits, which is just they're willing to pay part of the price of a book for someone else just to
be awesome.
To be awesome.
Oh my God.
And I'll do that sometimes, especially if I know someone's trying to go for something that they really, really have been looking for, and they're just maybe under where they need to be. So this was just a community love.
Oh, that is
really
super
great
cool. That is super cool. I mean, congratulations. That one, and that's a beautiful looking 2.0. My goodness.
It is. It's the colors are so great on it. Obviously, it's got, some issues, but even as a 2.0, it kind of fits more in my, I really love a good 3.0, 3.5 for books sort of this age. And I think it kind of at least presents closer to that. It
does. And that's the beauty of, if you're gonna get something from that era as a slab, if the damage is in the right place, it can come away looking so much better. I mean, I have that. I have the first Scrooge McDuck by Carl Barks, and because it's destroyed on the back, but the cover is flawless, it looks so much better. And I have seen so many copies of Lois Lane #1 that are completely, the color is faded, it's roached, it's falling to pieces. That one looks great. It looks good where it needs to, that front cover. Exactly. So I love that. I love that you got that. When you posted that, I was like, oh my God. So I want to talk. What do you love about the character of Lois Lane?
I just like that she just kind of gives no shits and will kind of just you just don't see that. I collect mostly female characters, particularly in the DC. And really, depending on the era, you don't really get a lot of like gung ho women characters taking charge, and that's what you see with Lois.
Right.
And then the added bonus of oftentimes that kind of playing into like Superman is just extra funny, especially again, I love the Silver Age DC goofiness. So all of that blended together, this is just such an enjoyable series. I recently was able to pick up a few more issues. I mostly collect Raw. This one I just happened to get slabbed, but
Sure.
I've been reading those. Just again, so
That's
fun.
one that that one in particular, like to get in a slab makes sense to me. And you can read it in other ways. Like it's just, I don't mind. I do. I'm a boy with a dream of one day having the complete Lois Lane run. But like, I don't mind when I read and the cover pops off. It doesn't. It's not an expensive.
Back on in the bag,
Yeah, it's for fun, and it is a fun read. But like that, that number one. The first Silver Catwoman, I Am Curious Black, those I can see like they should probably be taken care of and read in facsimile or reprint or something like that. But yeah, man, so what a cool pickup. When I saw you post that, I was like, I was super excited for you, but I was also like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to her because I don't know a lot of people who love Lois Lane. Like,
Right?
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a book from the 50s and 60s that's very goofy, and you have to you got to be into that. And so I love when I see that other people are, and you are a younger collector. So the fact that you can appreciate something from that era, not that it's like my era either. I'm not that old, Hagen.
He's counting the math out.
He's doing
you didn't take a breath for me to interject in there. That
I knew what was coming. So what other characters, you said you collect primarily female DC. What are the other characters that you hunt down that you really like to read?
Yeah, my favorite two are Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, who I think are just two characters who, depending on the run that you're grabbing, are going to be so different, which is something that is kind of enjoyable. I think with both of those characters, like if you're reading the current Poison Ivy run,
You too, Cliff.
Nothing like anything else you would have read with that character. So those are two. And then for heroes, I tend to shift towards Supergirl being my favorite and grabbing a lot of Wonder Woman because I also am a huge fan of George Perez. He's my favorite artist and try and collect everything he does. So yeah.
So I just started watching the Harley Quinn TV show a couple days ago and finished it yesterday. So I'm all the way caught up, and I started reading the Poison Ivy series that started in 2022. I think it's the ongoing one.
Yep.
I started reading that yesterday as well. I was introduced to Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy from Batman the Animated Series, like from watching reruns of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. Like I really like both of those characters, and I really like. I really like the not giving a fuckness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really refreshing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And what I loved in the animated series that they took them as characters who had a past that was they had trauma, they had damage, and they were trying to be better, but they weren't necessarily trying to be good.
Yes.
And those Harley and Ivy episodes are so fun to watch. Just to for that, like that. And I mean, back in that day too, like it's Batman the Animated Series, but there were literal 30-minute episodes where Batman doesn't show up because he wasn't the star of that episode. Like they had the guts to take that risk, and it paid off. A lot of people will tell you that those are some of their favorite episodes, because they were different, but they worked in that universe and they were exploring characters and expanding that universe. Just so good. So yeah, very cool. Have you read, Cait, the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King?
I actually just had that in the pile near me just because I found a variant at my LCS the other day, and I have all the A's for it, but I'll collect anything for this run. That is my probably favorite story to reread. Absolutely adore the take on Supergirl, who
I do too.
Kind of the shift between her character and Superman is that, like, sure, she has hope, but she has like a sense of, I don't want to say necessarily reality, but because of the different background of the characters, she understands that sometimes, even with all the hope in the world, bad things can kind of win. And I enjoy that her character kind of takes that perspective, but still pushes through it to still try and do the best.
She does seem more like pragmatic than Superman. Like, Superman's very much an idealist, which, like, Cap's my favorite character. I can't really complain about that. But yeah, she definitely seems more, for lack of a better term, down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
My take on Supergirl is that because, like, depending on how she's written, but she has more of a memory of her home. You know, Superman, his loss is imagined. Like, he still grew up with a good family. There's a whole society and family that he never knew, but that's where his loss is. She legitimately lost things. And that's why at the beginning of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, when she's there to get hammered, like the if you haven't read it, Hagen, like, I'm not really spoiling anything, but issue 1, she's on a planet with a red sun on her 21st birthday so that she can get drunk. 1, I love it. And 2, I love that she still waited. She still followed the rules. She waited until she was 21 to go do it, which is hysterical. It is it is just a great story, and I love that they're using that for the movie. The girl, her name escapes me, but she was in the Game of Thrones prequel series, and she's very good, the girl that is going to be playing Kara. So I'm very hopeful that movie's going to be good. I have a lot of, like, trust in James Gunn because of things he's done in the past, and I'm not somebody who has been down on the Superman trailer. Like, some people don't like the suit, they don't like the look of certain things. I'm just like, man, I learned my lesson with Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, I'm not judging anything until I actually see it. Like, not a trailer. I need to see the product. I need to see the whole story. And I just have a lot of faith in him because he's able to bring humor and heart and reality, like, simultaneously. I don't know how he manages to do that in those stories, but Guardians of the Galaxy is like that. The new Suicide Squad he did, Peacemaker, holy cow. If you haven't seen Peacemaker on Max, Hagen, since you're done with Harley Quinn, I can't recommend that one enough.
I fell off Peacemaker, actually. I watched the first couple episodes and it just didn't grab me, but I did watch Creature Commandos. And
so good.
Like
right? About first project of the new universe and just being like, all right.
Yeah, the sleeper episode for me, everybody talks about the GI Robot episode, which was perfection, mind you. But the sleeper episode to me was the Weasel episode. Like, I thought it was just going to be. I didn't know what I thought it was going to be, but
not a clue.
I think I cried, actually. Like, I do think that I cried.
I didn't get quite there, like, but it gave me major vibes of Guardians 3 and Rocket's story. Like, I mean, that tore my freaking heart out. It really did.
Like, that movie. I cried through probably the whole second half.
Oh my God.
I can't, I mean, I'm getting misty thinking about it. Shut up.
Well, so that's the thing, is that I have, like you, I have a lot of faith in James Gunn. I think that he's going to do the best possible with, like, these IPs. And I do trust him. There are Marvel fans. Well, there are MCU fans who are actively rooting on the downfall of, like, the new DC movies, which I don't understand at all. Like, I like superhero stories. I think that they're fun, and we haven't gotten a good Superman movie since, like, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
So can we have one, please? Like, it would be great.
please.
That'd be good for the MCU too. If DC is doing well,
yeah.
like, I mean, the MCU fans themselves are taking down their like movies from Marvel. So like, you know, a little friendly competition where if like one is really good, I think that forces the other to step up their game.
A new Captain America movie came out, and I've said nothing about it because it was fine. Like there needs to be healthy competition, I think.
Yeah. I want to touch on this real quick. Mike from Evil's Comics says, Superman World of Tomorrow is told through a third-person narrative. Are you afraid this will turn out like Thor Love and Thunder, another movie told through third person? Man, I will say this. I can't believe that Thor Love and Thunder was as unenjoyable as it was to me, because I like everything, and I can't pronounce his name, but the director has done, like,
Jojo Rabbit.
Oh my God, that movie is just it is 5 stars, 5 out of 5, like so freaking good. So that was just a serious misfire. I have to wonder how much of that was like studio problems versus, just letting him tell a story. But the reason I don't think that with Supergirl is like, I feel like what they're trying to do with the universe and go back to Creature Commandos, like, how is that vulgar, ridiculous show got so much heart to it? So if they can do it with something like that, I really think that, James Gunn seems to be doing. I love that little like animated typing Stephen Bochco. He's overseeing the universe, so I'm putting a lot of faith in him. I really, really hope it's worthy of that story.
He also just seems to be into the books. So like,
right.
If he's reading them and he understands the characters, I think with Thor Love and Thunder, there was that misunderstanding of almost every single character in that movie. So like, I definitely think, at least until I've seen it, I'll have faith in James Gunn's storytelling.
I want to show you guys something. Because we're just right on this. So Toy Fair is happening. I am a toy collector, sort of. I'm pretty much full. But Toy Fair is going on, so they're announcing all the new toys. And I saw this one and just thought, oh my gosh, gotta show Cait, because I know she'll like it. If you haven't seen it, look at that.
That is so good. Oh man,
the wire in the cape. Oh, that's so cool. I'm 5 years old.
Yeah. It's got a sword, guys. Yep. It's got a damn sword. I have to read it. This.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
I have already reloaded my thrift books cart. Woman of Tomorrow is in it.
Good.
Just so you know.
I mean, I would put, I hadn't read it until last year, and I would put it up there with not in terms of like the same, but like personal impact. Essex County and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow were like my 2 favorite reads of last year, just because Supergirl really surprised me with the depth that they put in there. And like Cait had said, like, the way that character approaches problems, that Superman would attack completely differently, but you're into what she's doing because like that's her perspective. That's how she's going to solve it. So yeah. If you go to toyarc.com, if you want to see all the new toy stuff, there's like so much out there. I mean, I've been pouring over them. There's, I'm sorry, one more for the Star Trek fans. Okay. So this group, Nacelle, they got a lot of license. They got a Star Trek license, and I am really excited I finally get my Tuvix figure, which is from Star Trek Voyager, the mixture of Tuvok and Neelix.
I thought you were going to get excited over like a, I don't know, like a Tribble stuffed animal. What are the really good ones called? Squishmallow. I thought you were going to get excited over like a Tribble Squishmallow.
Oh man, now they need that. They need that for sure. But yeah, I couldn't believe that we're finally getting I mean, that is the complete likeness of that actor. It's really well done. They're a bit expensive though. Toys are getting really expensive. But they do look better and better. Just too bad I don't have any room for them anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure you miss back when they were like a nickel, right?
Yeah, I do. I do. You know, they used to be like $4. You'd go grab a GI Joe or a He-Man figure off the peg, and they were like $4. Chakotay. We don't need no Chakotay. That dude is the he is beige as a character. Beige personified. Yeah, if you love your wallet, do not go to Toy Arc and look at all these great toys coming out next year, because there are a lot. So, well, Cait, I don't know if you saw this. I want to show it, and I know he was in here. Adam from Up and Adam Comics, he did this picture for me. Yeah. Where he drew.
Oh my god.
That's the appropriate reaction.
That is so good.
I about died when I saw this. So he took the Dazzler #1 and personalized it for me. So yeah, that's me. Everybody has remarked that the lack of boobs is disturbing. So, you know, I'm fine with it. But in the bubbles, we have Lois, Alf, the Ferret, and Amethyst Princess of Gem World.
So amazing.
This is like, had my back not been out this week, I'm gonna figure out a way to put this on my stand back there, because I want this in my background all the time. But this thing is just freaking fantastic.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. This community is amazing. Thank you, Adam. Check out his channel. He's just started. He's got a couple of videos up, and oh my god, I'm not an art guy, like collecting original art, but he just showed one that is like all okay, Munin, there you are.
Okay, Munin, enjoy things, man.
The Adam put a video out that is just sketch covers that he's gotten done at different conventions, and some of them are unreal. And it made me want to like start going down that rabbit hole, because like, yeah, you know, I got nothing but space and time and money. But when I see something cool like that, I kind of want to get a piece. You know, I want to get something done by somebody.
What I have seen people do is that they will go buy sketch books rather than like sketch covers. Because if you just want the art, it's a more compact way to keep it all.
Yeah.
And you can get sketchbooks that are 200 pages. And so then you can have 200, if you want, original pieces of art. Whereas like 200 books is a short box if it's stuffed to the gills, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I saw, is it Rohan, who has a sketchbook of where he went to Terrificon. He got some new sketches done, and he was flipping through that on one of his streams, and it was really cool. And yeah, you're right. Like, it's not like I can't still display one if I wanted to, you know, show it or something. But yeah, I'm not big on the sketch covers. You're right. It would take up a lot of space.
Yeah. And you can scan them into your computer so that way, like, you don't even have to show the original ones. If you don't want to, you can just print them off and stick them up.
I like someone did it where they had every artist they met do a different interpretation of Thor.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
So like, it's just cool to really understand where these different artists kind of make something their own.
Yeah.
So I want to, Lyle showed the first appearance of Canoehead on a stream that we were on, and we bought it because what the hell is a Mr. Canoehead, right? It's that guy. Are you saying that we have now affected the market? It's $2 more expensive than it was? Because if that's so, if our stupidity has caused a price fluctuation, I can't tell you how much that tickles me.
Again, because it did actually genuinely cause a price fluctuation for the ferret.
Everybody's buying the damn ferret. It's so good. Oh. Adam. So there's Adam right there. He says, Cait, he has a Perez sketch. Holy cow. That is cool.
I said, I definitely need to see that. That's the one signature I hunted for. I'm not really a huge just signature person.
Right.
But I hunted for like a year for Crisis 7. with his signature, my favorite cover, favorite artist, and found that about a month ago. So
Wow, the Supergirl cover, right?
yep.
I bet that wasn't cheap.
I found a pretty. The reason I waited so long was you can kind of find them, but I was like, no, I'll just wait until I find an affordable copy. And I'm not really like a huge I don't need a really high grade, so I was like, if
Right.
it's it looks really nice and it has his signature, I'm just gonna go for it. And I ended up finding quite a deal on like a 9.4.
Wow. So it's a
Yeah.
slab. It's a gold
Slabbed.
label.
I think I got it for like $100, which
Oh my God.
is some money,
Yeah.
but like.
Yeah, but
For
if
that?
you got it, like if you had it signed and sent it to get slabbed, I guarantee
Way more
you
than
would
that.
you would pay way more than $100 to do that yourself. So to get it
100%.
already done, holy
That's why
yeah,
you gotta just hold out for stuff.
yeah. I agree. Unless it's Mr. Canoehead, then when you're in the
Then
stream,
go get it.
you buy that while you're streaming.
Mhm.
You give the classic the Archer drinking whiskey out of the bottle. You're like, wait, I'm on the... got it. Let's go.
Yeah, you got to make sure that the ink is still hot on that.
Oh,
Cliff just asked a question that I'm curious about. Do you have like a Grail goal for 2025 or a comic goal for 2025?
So it's not to get it in 2025, but it is to save up enough money to probably get it in 2026. The next major key that I really, really would love is an Action 252. I'm gonna kind of try and hold out as long as I can on that one while the movie is a coming and whatnot. But that's probably the last of my favorite female characters that are obtainable. So not a Wonder Woman first appearance, but
first Supergirl, right?
First Supergirl, that would be.
Yeah,
I can't even.
that's huge. I have like 3 facsimiles of it.
Yep. I have everyone you can find.
Right, I do too. That's one of those that that's the point where I feel like for me personally, like I kind of have a ceiling where I'm like, I'm not spending that on a book. I'm just not.
Rent,
And
like if it gets close to rent in a city.
Yes, that's
good.
that's where I am. Like that's why Lois #1 to me, like I've seen that book for something that doesn't disgust me.
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, yeah, that's money, and that's me taking a couple weeks off of making purchases, but I could live with that because that would be a cool feather in my hat. But man, yeah, like the Supergirl, the Crypto first appearance, there's just a lot of those early ones that I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I would love it. But once we hit a certain price range, I'm like, you know what? I enjoy my facsimiles. They're really good.
Now, what I would say is that there are some people that will drop thousands of dollars on a book every week just because, they're in the place that they can. I don't foresee me ever being in that place or ever being able to have I am okay with spending $10,000 on 18 pieces of paper stapled together. I don't think that I'm ever able to do that. But there are a few books where I will make exceptions for breaking my own personal price limits. So if Action 252 is one of those for you, go with God.
Exactly.
Make sure that you're not maxing out credit cards and taking out second mortgages or whatever. But if you do the work and saving the money to get it, peace be with you. And I hope that you show it to all of us when you do get it.
That is exactly why it's like a grail, but of the year, and that instead of buying something, I'll just put money aside for that throughout the year.
Yeah.
And with what I said, I was not poo-pooing anybody who wants to spend money on anything. Everybody has, like Hagen said, everybody has their own thing. And I break my own rules all the damn time. And I look around my room and I'm like, maybe if I didn't buy Canoehead and the Ferret and, I spend $5,000 in dollar books all the damn time. I could have a really nice grail if I would just slow down on the stupid. But I'm not gonna, because
somewhere Jamie Union is laughing.
You gotta get what you love.
I gotta get what I love, and when I see Freddy, when I see Freddy from Bluebird Shoes, I'm like, I have $2. I want to know what this is. I just wanted more Timmy the Timid Ghost.
And you didn't get it.
I didn't get it, but knowing that this is issue 15, I do have a little hope that maybe Timmy's going to show up in one of these earlier issues that I can find.
What was the imprint of that? Was it Blue Sky
It's
Shoes?
Bluebird Comics, but that's because it's Bluebird Shoes. It's under Charlton. It's a Charlton published book, but it's.
I wonder if all of them are the same. Is issue 14 also Bluebird?
I mean, doesn't that shoe look horribly uncomfortable, and also like really wide? Like my foot would fly right out of that.
Yeah, I feel like a step would be a little difficult in that one.
Dream step, tapered, trim, and stacked for pleasure. That's what they used to say about me back in prison. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is. I gotta find more. Eric, I'm gonna get you a pair. Oh man, guys. This has been a ton of fun. So, Cait, what got you started? When did you start collecting books? When did you start reading comic books?
So, growing up, read very random issues, primarily. Two that you wouldn't necessarily think go together. A lot of G.I. Joe and a lot of the Archie digests that you find at the grocery store. And those were at my grandmother's house, she is from Quebec, Canada, moved to the United States and learned English primarily through reading comics and other similar stories. So I read a bunch there. And then funny that you mentioned the Harley Quinn animated show. That's really when I started collecting comics. I watched the show. They had some tie-in issues. Went to the LCS to grab that, and then was like, oh. And that was the moment where I left with more than just that comic.
So that's awesome. What's your pull list like? Like how many books are you grabbing a month?
Oof. A month. It would depend on the month.
That's a personal question.
I know.
It would depend on the month, but right now, the 3 absolute titles, those have been, oh my gosh, good.
Did Superman get I wasn't sold on Superman 1.
Yes, if you get to issue 4, first couple I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Nothing's really happening. By issue 4, you really start to see what's going on in the United States and the world and the kind of role that he is going to play. So I would recommend at least getting to issue 4, and if you're still not into it, hopping into something else. But aside from that, almost every DC female character is on my pull list, and then I have just been expanding into a lot of Image and Dark Horse outside of that.
Cool.
Obligatory my mention of, have you read Something is Killing the Children?
I have not. That is on my list. I've actually just started Saga, and I'm almost finished with the compendium. I got a couple issues left, and then my brother had the 3 compendiums for Invincible, so I just read like a noob issue 1 and 2 yesterday, which nothing really I would say is going on too much in those first 2 issues, but I can't wait to see what comes after that, because I just know it's gonna go crazy.
It goes.
It pops off.
Yep.
Yeah, Kirkman just did things in that book. It is a love letter to superhero comics, and it is so freaking good. Saga, I love Saga so much. I dropped off when they went on a hiatus. I collect the big hardbacks, so I've got 1 and 2, and I know 3 is out, but I'm kind of waiting, just because I know I'm going to have to reread everything. But again, as far as world building and just a unique universe, I I love Saga so much. I love the prince with the TV on his head, and I just love it. I love it. Those are good books. You got good taste.
I was gonna say that, like, that you do have great taste. If you want to add Something Is Killing the Children, or if you're like, just seek out the first trade.
Yeah.
If you read the first trade and you don't like it, don't keep going. But you will like it. It's it's awesome. Like it's really. I think that was one of the first non-superhero books that I read where I was like, I have to keep reading this. Like, I have to know what happens next. It's so good.
Yeah, I fell off of that. I'm gonna go back to it, but when they stayed with Erica, the main character, I was really on board. When they started expanding the universe, which I understand they had to, I didn't lose interest. I just wasn't as driven to grab the next trade. But yeah, there's a reason that book is so popular, and there's a reason there's so many variant covers still being pumped out for that book, because it's just really good. It's a great book. And I trust anything Hagen's wife gets, because she seems to have really good taste in reading as well.
Yeah, she was the one that introduced me to it.
Yeah, Christina says Archie and Harley. What an entry, right? Like, you couldn't have more like opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to what gets you into this. I think that's really cool. That's awesome.
Now, there are a lot of similarities, Cait. Like, my grandmother also had those Archie digests, and she knew that I liked comics, so they weren't my introduction to them, but she would get them for me every now and then because she used to like to read them. And she wasn't from Quebec, she was from Toronto.
Oh wow.
And so just hearing you talk about that, I was like, it feels like I was there for like parts of your childhood, because they were parts of mine, you know.
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, I would go to the grocery store, and I've talked about this before. Like, if I survived a trip at the grocery store, my reward was usually getting to get something at the checkout, and that was more times than not an Archie digest. And then, like, as I got older, no, that's, Archie's dumb. It's wholesome and goofy, and I don't want that. I want to read, The Dark Knight and all these other, I want dark 90s stuff.
I want to read Dazzler like a big boy.
Yeah, it wasn't until later.
I know.
Well, it actually was, like, but I guess my point is, like, as I've gotten older, like, I do get nostalgic for that, and I can appreciate it. One of the things I'm gonna hunt at the con today, my friend Eric and he is into this Jughead series called Jughead Time Police.
I have not heard that one.
Okay, so
there
it's
are a lot of Archie titles, but that is
that one. I mean, I really hope we can find some. And I've got 2 Archie books. I'm trying to find. One is Archie 3000, which is like the Archie Universe's 2099, but it's Archie 3000. And then the other one is Faculty Funnies, which is where all of the teachers get superpowers, and it's so goofy and god awful, but I absolutely I just love it. I love stuff like that. I can appreciate it. Like, that's where I am in my, like, I buy to read, and I can appreciate things for what they are. Everything doesn't have to be dark. Everything doesn't have to be good. Good. Everything just has to be a good read for what it's trying to be. Exactly. And if it works, it works, And everybody should just go back to what we were talking about, DC and Marvel. Like, I don't know why people want something to fail. Like, how does that give you validation? We need to be like, we're a niche hobby, man. We need to be celebrating and growing as much as we can, not tearing people down for stuff.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. But yeah, Archie versus Predator. There was the one with Archie and the Punisher, where the Punisher took out a contract on somebody that looked just like Archie, so he ends up in Riverdale, gunning down. I don't know. I didn't read it, but I'm just picturing Moose fighting the Punisher. Get out of Riverdale.
I do have that one, and it is on my reading list, so I am excited to see how the hell that one ends.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming up on our hour, and church starts at 10:45. We want to give people time to go to the bathroom before they go wash away their comic book sins. But before we go, does anybody have anything they want to push or promote? Cait, anything?
Yeah. If you are ever interested in checking out my page at Cait's Comics on Instagram, I post just a lot of things that I enjoy. And I am starting out a comic book club that will be holding hopefully the first meeting in about a month. I have to create the DM list. I grabbed a bunch of interest. So that should be fun. And then I'm also part of the team on the Comic Underground on Instagram, a platform that we host live sales where you can like purchase comics in a Instagram live. We host live artist sketches and cover reveals for new works that people are completing. And then just hold different kinds of like live chats to talk about new comics, old comics, and kind of what's going on in the comic sphere.
Very cool.
That sounds super cool.
It really does. So I do have a link to Cait's Instagram, so please definitely check her out. She's, I said earlier, somebody that I met through Eric at SideQuest, and I think you're a neat collector.
Thank you.
I like the things that you show, and I again, like, you just have really good taste in books, and you appreciate those of us that have ridiculous taste in books.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate that. How about you, Hagen? Anything going on for you this week, or?
We've got SideQuest show tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 4 Pacific, I think.
What about Greenwich Mean Time? Also, what is Greenwich Mean Time?
Greenwich Mean Time is Greenwich is a city in England, and that's where the international date line is. So that's like where 0 is.
So could I dance back and forth and be traveling through time if I was in Greenwich?
If you want to.
Is there a line I could do?
Stopping you?
Yeah.
I've got a new life goal.
There are also those, like when we drove cross country, there are those like placards of like, you were now leaving Eastern time, you are now leaving Central time. There's no better way to feel more tired than by, driving from somewhere where it's 8 and now all of a sudden it's 9.
Right.
Yeah, so we've got that going on tonight. We have a show Tuesday, I think.
It's not about them. We have a show Tuesday?
Do we?
Oh, I was not going to host a Tuesday show. Just personal life stuff. Next week is a big testing week for third grade teachers, of which I am one.
Oof.
Next week I'm gonna want to die, so I'm gonna hold off for our Friday stream with Alan. I want to be healthy for that, and then our Sunday show next week, which will be hosted by you.
Yeah, that'll be on my channel. I will not be able to be at Alan's show on Friday. I have a funeral that I have to go to, but I will be there for the Sunday show.
Okay.
So that's what I've got going on this week. I just assumed that we had a Tuesday thing going on.
I mean, I honestly want to do it as regularly as I can. It's just this week. This week is not going to be a good week for me. I'm going to be, in Spider-Man 2, where he's like holding the train back. That's what it's like to be a third grade teacher during standardized testing week, 2 weeks before spring break. Like that's going to be my life.
Well, so, when we turn cameras off, I'll come over there, give you a glass of whiskey, and rub your shoulders. How about that?
Oh, God, you're so good to me. You're so good to me. Well, everybody in the chat, guys. I mean, at one point there was like 38 people in here. I can't even believe people get up this early to do this. I can't believe we get up this early to do this. But thank you. I almost didn't here. Thank you to Christina, and thank you to JSS for dropping links into the chat. And again, thank you everybody for being here. Next Sunday, make sure to be on Lettuce Comics. We'll have links for that. I don't know who our guest is yet, but we'll get somebody good, just like we did this week. Cait, thank you so much for hanging out with us. All right, everybody, we will see you next Sunday. Go get a bathroom break, and we'll see you at church. Bye-bye.